Finding a reliable hard money lender can be a lot harder than you think. In fact, just recently, one of our new clients almost lost $15,000 by going with the institutional hard money lender that, because of what happened with COVID-19, completely stopped funding all their transactions at closing. But don't worry, this doesn't have to happen to you. The key is learning what I'm going to share with you in this video. Hi, my name is Rick Melero and I'm from His Capital Funding. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how you find the right hard money lenders that will give you flexibility and, most importantly, give you multiple options. When you're looking for a hard money lender that's reliable, the very first thing you have to identify is if this investor or lender actually has their own private capital or if they're only selling to institutional investment companies. The reason why this is important is because when you're dealing with somebody who only sells and funds deals through institutions, is that during the good times, these lenders might be able to give you the most aggressive terms, the highest loan to values, but as the market shifts, they're the first ones to literally contract and walk away, leaving you at the closing hanging without any options or alternatives to close. These types of institutional lenders as well will many times lead off with great terms, but by the end of the closing, those terms have changed drastically, from interest rates, loan to values, and you know it. At the end of the day, you have to come out of pocket more money to close your deal. So if you don't want to be frustrated, one of the best things to do is to look for real estate investment companies that are actually direct. They're lending money, and even if they're selling some of the capital, as long as they're able to hold some of those loans in their balance sheet, it gives that lender the ability to be more flexible with investors that have more experience or really have a good deal. So if you're looking for a private lender, make sure that you start studying to learn and discern if the lender you're working with has their own private capital that they can hold on their balance sheet. Trust me when I say it'll make your life a lot easier. Now, I had a customer who actually came to us. He had worked on a couple of deals before. We had done a few transactions, so he knew we were consistent and we were real. But of course, as he was working with another contact of his, they introduced him to another institutional lender. Now, the lender offered him a ridiculous low rate, incredible high leverage, and at the end of the day, at the day of closing, when he chose them, paid for the appraisal, and had already gotten to the final piece, they changed all the terms on him. Now, what we found out later was that because the market was shifting, they not only pivoted, but they were trying to decline the deal without saying no. So the way they did that was by lowering the loan to value substantially and making him come out of pocket just 2 days before the closing at a ridiculous amount of money that obviously he didn't have, because he was expecting to get the money that he was getting from the lender when he analyzed the deal. Now, here you are, right the day before closing, you figure this out, that you have to come out of pocket more money, the rates are different than you thought, and you're pretty frustrated. So he first tried to find a way to get the money that he could to close the deal, but unfortunately he realized that he just wasn't going to be able to do it. So by the day of the closing, he reached out to us and he asked us if we could help. So we were able to prepare a letter, buy another 24 hours while we structured the entire deal in-house, and we were able to close the deal. And the important thing with this particular deal was the fact that we fell in love with it because the numbers made sense. He had a lot of equity position. With his experience, we were able to waive some of our conditions so that we can move quickly and close this transaction very fast. And that's exactly what we're able to do. So when you're wherever you are, if you're looking specifically for funding options, make sure that the lender is truly a direct lender and that they're not just selling 100% of their business to other institutions. Trust me when I say it, you'll sleep better at night. When they say yes, it'll be a yes. And when they say no, it's a no. So that's something you can take to the bank. Now, even though we lend money, we're an active investor. And as an active investor, I can tell you that there have been times where I bit off way more than I could chew. Sometimes it was because of finances, but sometimes it was just because my team was just so overwhelmed with different projects that literally by the time I bought a property, it would take 60 to 90 days to get my crew to get there in the first place to start working on the property. So knowing from experience that sometimes we're just overloaded, but we don't want to lose the opportunity, I can tell you that one of the most valuable ways that you can connect with a private lender is that if they are truly investors and they're buying properties, you can leverage your capital so that even when you bit off more than you could chew, or if you don't want to get over leveraged, you can literally go to your private lender and say, look, I've got this deal. I can't finance it right now because I have too many projects going on. Would you be interested in buying it? That's one of our biggest selling propositions in our business, is that many of our borrowers, when they get to that point, but they haven't turned off their marketing machine to get these off-market deals, they come to us and we're able to give them multiple options. One of the ways we do that is in buying some of those properties ourselves, and we pay them a compensation for bringing us a deal, so that way they at least make money for their efforts. And sometimes, even if the numbers don't necessarily work for us, one of the benefits that we bring to the table is that we are a lender and we have a list of borrowers that are looking for deals every single day. So what we're able to do is, if we don't take the deal down ourselves, we're able to put it in our marketplace and move the property for that investor so that they don't have to bite off more than they can chew. They don't have to get over leverage and lose their shirt. So now they can make money, and if they don't necessarily have the resources at the moment to close, they can literally rely on their private lender to help them to move the property, whether it's us buying it or having other borrowers buy the deals. And I will tell you that when you're dealing with a private money lender who understands the investment process, who is purchasing themselves, it will insulate you and protect you. Because, for example, many times when you're dealing with a lender that's only lending money and that's selling most of the paper off, they don't understand what an investor sees, because you're only lending money. They're only looking at their box and their criteria. But when you have an investor that's lending you money who's done deals, they can analyze the project and tell you where there's risk. They can challenge you to negotiate better terms if they feel that it's a riskier deal. They're going to give you perspective from the sights of an investor who's got experience. And so this is another set of eyes that truly gives you the perspective you need to make the right decisions on the deals that you're buying. And of course, the benefit of having somebody who is already dealing with other investors or buying properties themselves gives you the ability to focus on marketing and growing your pipeline so that you can take down the best deals, and the deals that you don't have the resources or the money to close, you can hand off and still make money, increasing your your streams of income. And finally, when you find a reliable funding source, one of the things you may want to find out is if that specific lender or investor is open and willing to joint venture with you on projects. And I'll explain why this is important. You see, one thing is making sure you have money for you to close your deals quickly. Another thing is to have somebody buy properties from you or help you to move some of those properties. But sometimes there are deals that don't necessarily fit the box of anybody, but they're still great opportunities. I call those quick turn deals. So I'll give you a perfect example. We recently had a client that has done at least 20 some odd loans with us. So we've closed with him, we know him, we have a great relationship. And because of his loyalty to us and the relationship that he built, he literally brought us a project that made so much sense on a quick turn level. And what I mean by that is he found a property that he initially had under contract at $100,000. The value of the property was about $130,000 on the retail side. Now, the condition of the home was beautiful. It was clean. But the reality is, when you break down a wholesale fee or you go to buy the property, the equity position is just a little tight for us to be able to lend the money. So when we looked at the deal and we started analyzing the numbers, we realized that the best use of that project is to purchase it, negotiate the price slightly, and then ultimately try to resell the property around 120 so that you can be in and out quickly. So what we did is we helped to negotiate. Now that he knew he had money from his private lender / joint venture partner, he was able to go back and negotiate the property down to $94,000. We closed on that property. We paid the $1,000 to clean it up and put some really cheap appliances, which was the only thing missing in the property. We listed it back on the MLS, and within the first week, we were under contract at $123,000. Now, that's a deal that he didn't have the resources to close, nor could he justify paying lender fees in order to get this money done. Instead, it was a lot easier to fund the deal and do a partnership with him so that he can keep managing the projects he was doing, but have that extra cash to close that extra deal so that he can make more money. And so when you're looking for a real estate investment partner, or a lender, I should say, you want to make sure that you're dealing with somebody that gives you multiple options so that as you're analyzing deals, you can either take it down yourself and get loans, you can sell it to the actual lender investor, or they can help you to move it with somebody else. But when you're dealing with a quick turn opportunity, or maybe a much larger project that you typically do, where you will need a lot more money out of your pocket, if you have a lender that actually has built a relationship with you with the ability to joint venture with you, it lets you take down the project, manage it, and still participate in the equity growth of that investment. And so again, when you're looking for a hard money lender that is going to be consistent, that is going to be reliable, don't just fall for the low rates and terms. Look for the benefits that you get from multiple options that you get with that investor. I'm telling you when I say that, when you're dealing with real private capital, somebody who understands buying and somebody's willing to joint venture with you, that literally gives you so many more options so that you can evolve with the changes of the market. I hope this video has helped you and provided a new perspective so that you can start looking in your area for a hard money lender that offers those options. Now here's a shameless plug. The reality is his capital funding does all three of the things that I just talked about. So if you want to learn more, just make sure that you go on the description and click on the link to get more information. Now, if you liked the video or found anything useful at all, please make sure that you like, subscribe, or comment.